So you just came home from work and you need to cook a meal for your family within the hour. What can you make? Chicken, rice, vegetables, under 1 hour? Easy peasy. With the rice cooker, this should be a breeze. Can I still do this? Only one way to find out. Okay, here's how this is going to work. No pre-made prep is done. I'm starting from scratch. All ingredients are obtainable from the fridge or pantry, and kitchen tools are readily available. I got a countdown timer running down here in the corner, and there will be checkpoints at various times when milestones are hit. The timer ends when I finish plating for the family. Obviously, the food here needs to be fully cooked and safe to eat. I'm not looking to cause stomach aches here, especially for my family. Alright, so let's get started. I plan to make a pan-seared chicken breast with a nice crust on the outside and juicy inside. I'm also going to blanch some Chinese vegetables with a little bit of seasoning and have some classic white rice to balance out this meal. I'm adding a little twist to this challenge. The rice cooker will not be available for use here. Contrary to my own beliefs, not everyone has a rice cooker. Therefore, I will be using a typical stainless steel pot to make the rice. It's a perfectly fine alternative to a rice cooker, but you lose out on the ability to set it and forget it, which just makes it one more thing to keep on top of mind with respect to timing of everything to make sure it's not overcooked, undercooked, or burnt. So we'll see how I handle that additional complexity. I got all the ingredients I need so far, so I'm going to start by rinsing our vegetables and rice. The vegetable of choice today is called yu choy, also known as choy sum. This staple Chinese vegetable is actually one of my favorites. It's affordable, you can usually find it for under $2 a pound. The stems are crunchy and the leaves are soft and delicate. Flavor-wise, it has a subtle sweetness and bitterness to it. I love the utility of this vegetable as it's perfect for quick stir fries, blanching, or tossing into noodle soups. It'll find its place in anything. I'm rinsing the vegetables a couple of times with the purpose of removing any dirt or sand within the leaves and stems. Once we're done rinsing, we'll leave the choy sum in cold water until we are ready to blanch them. This is to preserve the freshness of the vegetable and help rehydrate them if they're getting a little old. This is why I'm doing this as a first step to maximize that time. For the rice, I'm using 3 cups of long grain jasmine rice. We'll rinse the rice 3 to 5 times in cold water to remove excess starch, which will help make the rice fluffier. In general, you're looking for the water to be fairly clear where you can see the rice through the water. I'll be honest here, I can count the number of times on my hand that I've cooked white rice without a dedicated machine, so it's always a challenge to me to see if I can replicate the same results of a rice cooker. Once I rinse the rice, I will fill just under 3.5 cups of water into the pot. If you watch my White Rice 101 video, I mentioned to start with a ratio of 1 cup of rice to 1.2 cups of water. The last time I tried making this with 3 cups of rice with that same ratio, I failed horribly. To put it simply, it ended up being too mushy with the amount of water used. This is where the subjectiveness comes with the rice to water ratios. Variables include the volume of dry rice, length of grain, harvest date, and even the brand can affect that ratio. The 1 to 1.2 rice to water ratio was perfect for 2 cups of rice, and it was a different brand as well. Generally, the higher volume of dry rice means a closer 1-to-1 ratio of rice to water, which I believe was the main cause of my past failure. I also didn't let it simmer properly, but nonetheless, send me your energy and pray that this rice goes as planned. I'm going to place it on the stove and start bringing it to a boil. Okay, now for the chicken. I have 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I'm going to apply a dry rub on them, seasoning them on both sides with salt, pepper, paprika, cumin, and thyme. Time to activate the third camera. Boom. Quick check on the rice. It looks like it's starting to boil, so I'm going to cover the pot, set the heat to low, and let it simmer for 18 minutes. I used the stove clock to help me calculate the next checkpoint for me, which is 1:54 p.m. A key step here is that once you close the lid, do not open it. Steam needs to be generated to help cook the rice. Alright, back to the chicken. I'm going to finish seasoning the other sides of the chicken. With that done, I'm grabbing my cast iron pan to start heating it up on medium-high heat. I'm also going to start preheating the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. And by doing that, I just realized that it took away the clock on the stove. So I guess I'll be using the microwave clock instead to manage my time. Usually I would use my phone, but it's kinda busy right now recording. Now we wait for the cast iron to heat up. I mismanaged a bit of the timing here. I should have started heating the pan after simmering the rice to minimize downtime. In an effort to optimize, this led me to lining a baking tray with aluminum foil, putting spices away, closing a cabinet door, checking the heat again, making sure my GoPro is not overheating, putting some things in the garbage, washing my hands, and grabbing dishes for plating. Also, quick plug in here, if you do want to support me further, check out my Patreon. You can get early access to my full cooking runs in real time, such as this one where I spend a lot of time looking at the clock and waiting. Oh baby. Alright, the heat is finally ready now. Almost 5 minutes of waiting. We can definitely improve our time here. I'll add in a couple tablespoons of cooking oil and put in the first round of chicken, placing it away from yourself to avoid oil splashing, and let it cook untouched for 2 to 3 minutes. I love hearing that sizzling sound. That's what we want to hear to give that chicken a nice, flavorful crust. So a little over 3 minutes in, I'll flip the chicken, again away from yourself. You can see how nicely browned the chicken is, which is what we're looking for. We'll let this cook for another 3 minutes untouched. Fun fact, this dish is actually a recreation of my first meal when I moved out to live on my own. I started with chicken breast because it's a lean meat, high in protein, and low in fat. Great for muscle growth. I had a little phase to try to get big and strong, but that didn't last very long. But it did spark my passion for home cooking with its benefits to be in more control of your finances and, more importantly, your health, which I want to share with you. After another 3 minutes, I'm transferring the chicken onto a baking tray to finish in the oven. Before that though, I'll start searing the other 2 chicken breasts. A little more oil in the pan, chicken breast in, and cook untouched for 3 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to drain the water in the mixing bowl to get our vegetables ready for blanching. Gonna grab a large pan with high sides and fill it with 3 liters of water. Time to flip the chicken breast and sear for another 3 minutes. Checking on our rice now, it's been 18 minutes, so we'll turn off the heat. Nothing else though. We need to let the rice rest for 10 minutes, so keep that in mind. We're not done here yet. Alright, we're done with the searing. Now it's baking time. Oven is ready, good timing here. I'm gonna put in the chicken from the baking tray as well as the cast iron pan directly. It's one of my favorite things about cast iron. Just make sure you have oven mitts to protect yourself from the handle. I'll set a mental timer of 11 minutes, which is usually the general timing I've found for chicken breast to be finished. With the chicken in the oven, time to start blanching our vegetables. Remember that saucepan we filled with water? Time to move that to the stove and get that boiling. I was wondering myself here if I should have started boiling the water sooner on the other heating element. It took about 7 minutes for the water to hit that boiling point. I think if I timed it to start boiling on the last flip of the chicken, it would have flowed better. Guess I'll wash some dishes in the meantime. The pot is boiling now, so let's add some cooking oil. I already added some salt, which will give it a little seasoning, and the oil will help preserve the greenness and give the vegetables a little shine. In goes the choy sum, and you can see the veggies are already turning into a more vibrant green. Already looking good. Make sure everything is submerged, cover, and let it blanch for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, moment of truth with the rice. Let's take a look. Wow, it looks like a nice pot of perfectly cooked rice. I'm impressed with myself, and thank you all for your viewing energy. I'll fluff the rice with a fork to help distribute the steam, and close it again to rest at least 5 more minutes for more steam distribution. Anyone wishing for a rice cooker now? The first batch of choy sum is done. I'll place it on a serving plate, and let's get the second batch going. Same methodology as the first one. Chicken is finished baking, so let's take it out of the oven.
Ooh! Looking cool, Joker!
Let it rest for at least 5 minutes. Get those juices inside to relax and distribute evenly through the meat. Second batch of vegetables are done. Take it out on the same plate as the first batch. With a pair of scissors, I'm going to cut the vegetables in half. This is up to you, but it separates the stems and leaves. My wife loves the stems, and I prefer the leaves. That's a match made in heaven.
Oh.
If you think this is a lot of vegetables, well, it is. Can't have enough vegetables though. The future you will appreciate that. We'll drizzle on some sesame oil and oyster sauce for additional flavor. This oyster sauce comes out much more smoothly when you bring it out early to room temperature. You could definitely do a lot more to enhance the flavor of the vegetables with aromatics like garlic, ginger, and stir frying it, but when you're up against a time limit, sometimes simplicity is all you need. Alright, we're close to the finish line. Let's bring everything over and start plating. Grab a couple scoops of rice. Everyone can have a nice full chicken breast, and top it off with some veggies on the side. That's one plate down, 3 more to go. Plate 2, plate 3, plate 4, and time. 4:57 left on the clock. Not bad, but I think we could do a lot better and save maybe 7 more minutes from my calculations. Bon appetit. Looks juicy. It's cooked through, which is always a good thing. The inside is nice and juicy, and the searing from the outside gives a nice crust and adds a lot of flavor. Rice is nicely cooked. And these are nice green leafy vegetables. This is a very healthy dish. You got your lean protein, green vegetables, and the rice. You can argue that you can probably use brown rice instead to make this even healthier, but all in all, this is a very healthy and balanced meal. And there you have it. Chicken breast, rice, and Chinese vegetables, all ready to serve a family. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free, and I'll let you know when the next cooking run comes out. Want to support me directly? Check out my Patreon. Big thank you to all of you for making it this far, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.